Hello, future teachers and W200 students. My name is Mike. I am the instructor for this summer session of W200. I'm really excited to have you all in this class and to be working with you all over the next 8 weeks. So think of this as sort of an introductory screencast. If you're not familiar with a screencast, it's basically just a video of me talking and recording the screen. So this screencast will introduce you to the course and sort of talk a little bit about what to expect from each week, where you should look to find things, what's in store. And this should probably be the first thing that you watch just to get introduced to exactly what's going on over the next 8 weeks. So let's jump right in and take a look. Just a little bit about me, introducing myself. My name's Mike, like I said. You don't need to call me Dr. Carlin or Professor Carlin. I'm an associate instructor and I'm a PhD student, so I'm working on my doctoral degree, but I'm not a professor. I am a graduate student here at IU, and this is my 7th time teaching W200. It's my 4th year here at IU. I've taught this class many times. I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorites to teach. And before this, I actually spent 6 years as a K-12 teacher. I'm from Kansas originally, so I started my teaching career there. I taught high school biology. From there, I moved to South Korea and taught elementary school English. And then I moved to South America to work in Colombia, and I taught computer science there to middle school and high school students. So if you ever have any questions at all about teaching abroad, teaching outside of the US, I am more than happy to talk to you about that. IU has a really, really wonderful Global Gateways program as well that offers student teaching opportunities outside of the country, and also here within the US in inner city environments, but also working with Native American students at like the Navajo Nation and things like that. So those are some awesome opportunities if you are interested in sort of non-traditional student teaching experiences. But if you do ever have questions about teaching outside of the US, I'm always more than happy to talk to you about what that looks like and how to get involved in something like that. In addition to teaching W200, I'm also a teacher in the Computer Education Licensure Program, or the CEL program. So if you find out that you are interested in the technology side of education, definitely consider the CEL program. It's a really great add-on licensure. So it's not like taking the place of your current licensure, whatever that may be, but it is an add-on that allows you to be something like a technology coach or a computer science teacher. It's a really great program, and lots of our students say that it helped them get the job they were looking for, because that's what principals and schools are sort of looking for these days, is someone who knows how to use technology in the classroom. And we'll be talking a lot about that over the course of the next 8 weeks, of course. Outside of teaching, I'm getting married August 25th. So excited for that. My fiance Pamela lives here in Bloomington with me, and she works at Middleway House. If you're familiar with that organization, they do a lot of great work for survivors of violence, human trafficking, and things like that. So if you ever have questions about that, they have tons of awesome volunteer opportunities, teaching opportunities, things that can get you inside the school and the classroom that are just really wonderful possibilities for sort of a different side of education that you don't always hear as much about, but is incredibly important. So we're getting married in Los Angeles, August 25th. Very excited for that. We also have a 2-year-old dog named Dixie. She's a pit bull, an American Staffordshire Terrier. She is the best. As I'm sure anyone with a dog will say their dog is the best, but Dixie is really the best. She's adorable. And then just general hobbies, music, photography. Those are some of the big ones. I also run an education technology blog that takes up some of my time as well. Here are just some pictures of us. This is my fiance Pamela and I hanging out, traveling around. I think this is at Oliver Winery here. Here's our dog, Dixie. She's chilling on the couch watching some TV. Here she is playing with robots. And then this is one of our engagement photos. Pamela and I's engagement photos from Los Angeles down here at the bottom left. So that's a little bit about me. I'm really excited to learn about all of you. We will be using a website called Flipgrid for course discussions over the next 8 weeks, which is sort of a video-based short video discussion forum that you'll be able to post about yourself and reply to other people. So I'm really excited to learn about you and who you are and what you're interested in and why you want to be a teacher and all that good stuff as well. So there'll be some more details about that a little later on. Just to briefly talk about the course overview and expectations, this course is typically taught during the school year. It's a face-to-face class. It lasts 15 weeks. And it has a lot to it. There's a lot of, it's got high expectations. There's a lot of work to it. It's a course that asks a lot of its students, in particular because it's typically the first course that many folks take in the School of Education. And so there's a focus on technology, but there's also a focus on sort of building these introductory skills about learning about standards and objectives and lesson planning and things like that. So there's a lot that we're expected to get through in this course, and that translates to a lot of different projects that we work on. So what that looks like in an online environment is there are still high expectations, and there's going to be a lot to keep track of in this course. I'll be mapping it all out for you. I'll have a weekly checklist of what you should be doing and going through, and I'll try to keep it all very organized for you so that it's easy to follow and you're not having to look in a million different places to find what you need to do or something like that. But anytime, if you are confused at all on anything, always feel free to just shoot me an email. Working with technology can be so frustrating, and I don't want you to have to sit there for 10, 15, 20 minutes trying to figure out, where is this thing? What am I supposed to do? How this isn't working? Whatever it might be, shoot me an email and I'll get back to you with an answer. I always try to reply within an hour or two. If you don't hear back from me within 10 to 20 hours, definitely within a day, always feel free to just reach back out again. But in general, I really try to be a very quick respondent to your emails, just because I know how frustrating it can be to be working on something and then hit a wall or be stuck. And I don't want you to have to experience that. So any questions at all, even if it seems like, something that, I feel like I should know this, don't worry about it. Just shoot me an email and I'm always happy to help with that. So overall, there's no materials for this course. You don't need to buy a textbook or anything like that. Each week will be broken down into two different, think of it like two different classes. Normally this is like a Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday class. Since the summer term starts on a Tuesday, think of this as like a Tuesday, Thursday class where Tuesday I'll provide some materials, Thursday I'll provide some materials, and then everything will be due at the end of the week. You don't ever have to be online at a specific time. There's no synchronous sessions where we're all meeting together at the same time. You can work, on your own time at your own pace, as long as you're meeting the course deadlines, then you're fine. We have 8 big assignments, 1,000 points total, and this is just to make things easy for keeping track of your grade. So something that's 100 points, it's 10% of your grade. Something that's 160 points, it's 16% of your grade. So that's just to make it easy to keep track of how much things are worth. Nothing's weighted, it's all just based out of 1,000 points. In general, there's no late turn-in of assignments, so if you are struggling meeting the deadlines, let me know and we can come up with some strategies to help you reach those deadlines. But in general, things need to be turned in on time. We'll talk about this more in a minute, but in general, everything should be turned in by Monday at noon. So since the first class is on a Tuesday, sort of imagining our week starting on a Tuesday and then ending on a Monday where you'll turn everything in. Grading breakdown, those 8 assignments, we'll have 12 class preps, Think of these as sort of like the homework assignments or the things that you do in preparation for the week. This will include watching videos, answering some reflection questions, doing some short readings, things like that. You'll also be completing 10 technology badges. These are things to help you learn some basic technology skills, how to create a screencast, how to create an infographic, how to create a concept map online. Things like that that'll give you some basic introduction to the different types of technology tools that we will be using in the class. We'll have 3 major projects. You'll create an inquiry or problem-based learning website. You'll create a Nearpod lesson on the topic of digital citizenship, and you'll create a Scratch game or activity on the topic of computational thinking. And all of these we'll get into as the semester moves forward. You don't really need to worry about those now. Participation's also a big part of your grade. Like I mentioned, we'll be having weekly discussions through Flipgrid where you'll be posting a short video and sharing your thoughts on something, but you'll also be responding to other people. Right now we've got about 10 students in the class. That may or may not change as things sort of solidify. But my hope is that everyone will be able to get to know each other, interact with each other, because a lot of times these online courses can be difficult to sort of feel connected to other students in the class. And I'm hoping that these video discussions will sort of help shift that so that you actually get a chance to know your peers in the class, especially because you'll be interacting with them and working with them over the course of the next, 4 years during your time here in the School of Education. So participation is a big part of your grade. And then these last two, ePortfolio, you'll be creating this to sort of showcase all of the work that you do over the course of the semester. And this is a really important thing as you move forward through the School of Ed, because you'll be able to add to it and grow it and use it when you actually go apply for jobs. My ePortfolio that I have has been one of the most important things I've used when applying for jobs. And it's something that I use to just showcase the best work and the best teaching that I've done. So this is a really helpful thing that we'll create that you can build on over the next few years. And then your final is meant to be pretty low-key, pretty chill, pretty stress-free. You'll be sharing part of your ePortfolio, sort of the things that you're most proud of. And it'll be a video on that. So again, there's no required specific times of day where you'll have to be here or meet or anything like that. It'll all be working at your own pace through the modules in Canvas, which we'll look at here shortly. But again, always feel free to reach out if you have any questions on anything at all. If you get behind, or if you're worried about getting behind, or if you're confused, check out the Canvas materials. That'll be a good place to start, but always feel free to shoot me an email, or we can also meet online and have a face-to-face actual conversation. I know sometimes that's easier than just sending emails back and forth, especially when you're dealing with technology. It can be kind of confusing. If I'm saying like, oh, you just need to click here, but you're like, where's here? I'm not seeing the same thing. So definitely feel free to schedule a meeting with me. I'm pretty available this summer, so whatever works with your schedule, I can make something work to meet with you. Probably the most important thing, I sent this in our welcome message to the class last week, but make sure to be checking our class announcements. This will be an organized list of everything to keep track of for the specific week or for the Tuesday, Thursday session. But make sure you're checking the announcements and make sure you have your notification settings set up so that anytime I post an announcement, you get a notification for it. You can get a text notification, you can get email notification, whatever you want. Just make sure you're getting notified or you're checking often, like multiple times a week, the announcements here in Canvas. This is your source for everything that you'll need for this class. So be checking it. And let me know if you're having any trouble setting up your notifications or anything like that. I would plan for around 6 to 12 hours of work each week. That includes watching videos, completing assignments, etc. Like I mentioned, this is a big class. There's a lot to it. And it's normally a 15-week class, so we're condensing it into 8 weeks over the summer. So you don't have the 3 hours of time where you actually have to be in class each week, but we are essentially cutting the time in half that we would normally have to work on these things. So there's a lot to keep track of. There's a lot going on. It's definitely not, like an easy A type of class. There are high expectations for the work that you do, and you're definitely expected to be professional, punctual, responsible, turn things in on time. In terms of the discussions that we'll be having, make sure that you are, of course, respecting each other. You are future teachers. You should be modeling the types of things you'd expect to see in your future classroom. And that includes actively participating in our discussions and responding to other people, having dialogue, asking questions, and things like that. Like I mentioned earlier, please be reading those weekly class announcements. You'll need to stay on top of those. And participation counts. So in those Flipgrid video discussions, make sure that you are sharing videos, but also you'll be responding to at least 2 other people for each discussion post as well. Communication expectations. If you're sending me an email, this example might be a little bit extreme, but just try at least say who you are. So this is meant to be a poor example. It's from sparkles@gmail.com. And if you read it, it definitely comes across as being a little rude. I don't have a problem if you have questions or if you have challenges or things you want to push back on. That's totally fine. But at least let me know who you are and be specific about what your questions are, what your concerns are. And at least proofread your email so that it's clear what you're asking. You do not have to be this formal, whatever. This is a super, super formal example, and I'm fine with a little less formality. But at least let me know who you are, what your question is. If you're talking about something you did, send the link to it also. Things like that just make it easy to understand what you're asking, especially since so much of this class is online. This is a good lesson to teach your students as well, but communication through online means can sometimes be difficult to tell tone. So, I try not to be, I'm usually a very sarcastic person, but I try not to be as sarcastic teaching online because it doesn't convey well through text and it can come across as just being rude. So just, be careful about your communication and send links to things, be specific about things, let me know who you are, what your question is, and things like that. So in terms of weekly expectations, we'll have a class prep that will come live on the Tuesday part of the class and on the Thursday part of the class. So there is essentially 2 class preps per week. These will be due, as will everything, Monday at noon. So the Tuesday module will come up. There'll be a screencast like this that'll sort of walk you through what's going on. There'll be different tasks to complete, things to walk through, maybe a discussion to participate in, a class prep to do. All of those things will always be due Monday at noon. So you'll have a new set of things come up every Tuesday, a new set of things come up every Thursday, and as long as you're getting all those things done by Monday at noon, then you are good to go. And again, we'll take a tour here in Canvas in just a moment. We'll also have some major projects, and just like the class preps, those will be due Monday at noon. So as long as you just keep Monday at noon in mind, you'll be good to go. In terms of the course purpose, our course is a little different than what you see at other universities in terms of the education technology course. A lot of times this class looks like, hey, here's how to use PowerPoint, here's how to use Excel, and it's a focus on a few specific programs and how to use those in the classroom. That's not what we're about, and there's a lot of reasons for that. But mainly, things to keep in mind is that this is not a computer skills class. Instead, it's about helping you make good decisions about using technology in the classroom. how to evaluate technology, how to find technology, how to determine if it's a good fit. And it's important to remember technology doesn't always work. There's always problems with technology. It's not the solution to every educational problem. You can't just give kids an iPad and then expect them to learn. That's not what this class is about at all. It's instead about this question here at the bottom. What would I do as a teacher? If I was a teacher and I was wanting to teach this topic, is there a way I could use technology to improve or enhance that lesson with my students? And sometimes technology can do that. Sometimes technology is a distraction or it makes things worse. So it's always important to consider, is technology actually going to benefit this lesson? And to that end, your first discussion question will be thinking back to your K-12 experience. And I'll share the link to this, of course. But you'll be answering what are some of your memories from K-12 and the way your teachers use technology in the classroom? What were some specific examples? Were they good? Were they bad? What could be improved on? And just sort of reflecting back to what that looked like in K-12. In terms of what's due, when, and where, always remember to check the Canvas announcement for this first week. Here's this checklist, and this is our last slide. Then I'll be wrapping up and showing you Canvas. But you'll have a class prep where before you complete that, you'll want to create some basic accounts. I know this looks like a lot of things. This first week is a lot of things because you're setting up all these different little accounts and stuff like that. So a lot of these are very short tasks. And in general, the list of things won't be quite as long as this. So if this is a little overwhelming, my apologies for that, but it's just for this first week to get set up. So you watch some screencasts on getting some basic accounts set up for the class. You'll set up your shell of your ePortfolio, so the outline essentially of your ePortfolio, and then you'll submit that class prep along with a Google form that has links to all the things you created. You will have watched this course overview because you're watching it right now. I'm going to show you this course schedule link here in a second. There's a great video called Shift Happens, which is great to watch and sort of get an idea of what we're talking about, why we're here. And you'll send out a tweet about that. There'll be two discussions. One is a simple introduction. Who are you? What's your background? Why are you interested in teaching? Things like that. And then the one I mentioned earlier, where you'll talk about your K-12 experiences. There's also an Excel evaluation where you'll self-evaluate your own skills in technology so we can see how they grow over the course of the semester. And then our first badge, you'll be creating what's called a chatter picks or blabberize. It'll be a little introduction, 30-second introduction to your classroom where you'll introduce yourself, what you're teaching. If you have an iPad or an iOS device like an iPhone, you can use ChatterPix. It's a free app. You'll basically make a little picture, make the mouth move, and introduce yourself. And Blabberize is the same thing, but it's on your computer for those folks who don't have an iOS device. So these are the big picture things, but let's go ahead and jump into Canvas real quickly just to take a little look around so you can kind of see what to expect from the organization of the course. All right, so here we are on Canvas, a few important things to talk about. First, my contact information is here at the top. This course overview and schedule document is super helpful in just giving you exactly that, an overview of the course, what's happening, what's due, what the assignments are. So always feel free to come here and check out exactly what's going on for the week. The other thing here is the link to our video discussions on Flipgrid. And this is where you'll be able to post your class introduction and your K-12 experience that I talked about. So you'll come in here, you'll record a short introductory video, and then you'll also be able to reply to other people. here's a list of our assignments, just if you need to look back on that. And when you do tweet things out, part of your first assignment is to create a Twitter account and send out some tweets. Always use the hashtag EDUCW200 hashtag, and this will just be an updated stream of that hashtag here. So that's our home page. You can find all of our assignments under assignments. The biggest thing to always be checking out is the announcements page. That'll be really important, as I mentioned, to check out every Tuesday and Thursday. And you'll also want to check out the modules page, because this is where you will work through all the different activities of the week. So it'll always have the date, May 8th, Tuesday, and it'll have the different things that you should do and work through. For example, when you're creating your accounts, you'll have this page here that will walk you through the different tasks. You'll need to create an IU box folder, you'll need to create a Gmail account, a Symbaloo account, Twitter account, and your Weebly portfolio. So everything is structured here and meant to walk you through these different tasks. It's hopefully easy to follow, but if you're struggling following through anything, or if you're running into questions, definitely let me know, and I will be more than happy to clarify or provide additional support for you. But definitely make sure you're checking the announcements, and that each week you are working through the modules. Beyond that, I'm excited for this summer semester. I'm excited to have you all in this class, and send me a message if you have any questions. Otherwise, go ahead and get started working through those different modules and tasks, and read the rest of the announcement that this video is posted in for sort of the details on what to do next. But let me know if you have any questions, and otherwise I'll post the next video on Thursday morning.